Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. We're a tribe right now of over 15,000 that show up in our Discord, and we share our ideas about investing. And this Discord has affected my investing strategy tremendously in that I've got 15,000 people that I interchange with and get new ideas of what's going to happen in the future. I don't invest based on the past. I don't care about 200-day moving averages or trends or momentum or mathematics or algorithms, whatever. I care about what's going to happen in the future. And I am of the belief that the stock market is driven by events. That is, it reacts to events and then it adjusts to those events to create what's going to happen in the future. And I don't think there's any escaping that technology is driving the future, and the event of our lifetime is the coronavirus. It has brought a focus on healthcare and basically stopping any future events like the coronavirus. That being said, I then basically, as I say, invest in the future. So I only invest in robotics, 3D printing, biotech, electric vehicles, and 5G. That makes it easy for me to not get caught up in all the other fluff that might be going on about Bitcoin, about hemp or marijuana drugs or things of that nature. I stay away from that, and I try to learn as much as I can about those areas that I want to invest in and who are going to be the leaders. So I keep track of my stocks, and I'll show you this in a second. And this weekend, I got to thinking, if I could only own 3 stocks, and I right now own about 20, what 3 stocks would I own for the next 3 to 5 years? Which are the stocks that I think are going to have the greatest impact on the growth potential in the next 3 years? And I want to share those with you because I think it's an interesting exercise, and I think it's an exercise that you should go through, and I'll also share how I evaluate my portfolio accordingly. So stick with me. While I'm gone, though, subscribe and then ring the bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I make a new video. And then go to bestofusinvestors.com and sign up for a link. I'll send you the link to our Discord, and then you'll join these 15,000 people that I share my knowledge, share my portfolio, share my buy, sell alerts, that sort of thing. So I'll be right back.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Grinkmeyer.
Okay, let's look specifically and start with, what do I own? Why do I own it? And Jack's going to put up this chart here that I use to separate out my holdings in robotics, 3D printing, biotech, electric vehicles, and 5G. I then make a little note on there because there are some strange names, and I want to keep attune and mind exactly what they do. Then I show the current price. Now this price is off because I did that this past weekend. And then I show what my gains or losses are in each one of the stocks, what the dollar value is of each one of the stocks, and what percentage of the portfolio they represent. And this is important because I think sometimes we get lost in how much is it up, how much of it is down, but I think it needs to be tied to how much of your portfolio does it represent, and thus get a better handle on what the risk level of your portfolio is. Because you'll see over here in the far right column, you're going to see I have noted each stock that I have more than 5% of my overall portfolio in, and they represent 66% of the overall portfolio. And you're going to see that my biggest holdings are Tesla, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, and now CRISPR. has moved into that category as well. So, and I look at that and say, well, those aren't high risk stocks. They're there because they dominate the technology world, and they are going to be the ones who are going to benefit from big data, from biotech. They're going to be the long-term winners. But I also need to find those that are going to be the short-term exponential growth. And so I keep this chart, and Jack will put that up as well. And this shows my exponential growth. Now, I have committed that I will not put more than 10% of my portfolio into this. Even though they have huge growth potential, there is risk there. And so I don't want to take that risk on. So, but by blending 66% in stable stocks that I think are going to give me continuous 33% growth a year, with 10% in exponential growth, and then the balance somewhere in between, I think I can achieve beyond certainly what the S&P 500 will give you, and that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 or 9% over the last 90 years average. I think I can achieve at least what I did last year, and that was about 61. And based on where I'm at thus far this year, up 15% since January 1st, that gives me a projected, if I can maintain that pace, a growth of somewhere between 130 and 150%. So, with all that being said, I then looked at it and said, okay, Kerry, if you could only own 3 stocks for the next 3 to 5 years, what 3 stocks would they be? And so I really approached it on a basis of process of elimination, and came down to what category is the greatest growth going to occur in, what's going to cause that, and what are the companies I want to be in. Well, I believe the biggest growth in the next 3 to 5 years in any of these commodities is biotech. And I believe that because I believe the market is driven by events. And events are, if we look in the past, the introduction of the internet, the introduction of social media, the introduction of e-commerce. The biggest event, though, in our life is the coronavirus. And what's going to drive the growth of stocks is fear, the fear of death. Larry King died, and I saw an interview this last week, and they asked him, what is your biggest fear, Larry? And he said, death. I know it's coming. I just don't know when it's coming and how it's going to arrive. But that's true. And until you've really experienced death, and I experienced it holding my daughter's hands and watching her heart beat in her chest, and then seeing her gasp for air, and then seeing her heart stop. And I witnessed it. I saw it. I saw death. And I'm 76 years old, and I work every day to avoid it. That's why I just bought that universal weight machine and put it together this weekend, because I can't get to the gym. I want to keep my body going. So, and then along that line, what do I read? Well, if you've been with me any length of time, you know that I read Lifespan, and it's written by David Sinclair. And basically, David Sinclair operates on the thesis, he's a Harvard professor, that if in fact we can eliminate the diseases that kill us, we can live forever. And the diseases that kill us currently are heart disease, which kills about 655,000 Americans a year, cancer, which kills another 600,000 people a year, and right now coronavirus, which is killing 400,000 this year. So if you can eliminate those, you can live forever, theoretically. Then the next book that I read, and a lot of you have picked up on this, I can see it on that A Crack in Creation, and this is written by Jennifer Dowden, and she's a Nobel Peace Prize winner this year for her work in CRISPR. And the one that I'm currently listening to, I haven't bought the book yet. I'm dyslexic, so I always listen to the books before I buy them and then read them. What I literally do the second time I sit with the AirPods in my ears, I then watch the words as they are read to me, and I increase my comprehension, I would guess, by 100%. But it is Editing Humanity, the CRISPR Revolution and the New Era of Gene Editing by Kevin Davis. The reason I picked this one up is because this was written in 2017. This was written in 2019. Because I believe that you and I's greatest fear is death. And our fear of death is going to drive the stock market over the next 3 to 5 years. So with that in mind, what are the 3 stocks that I want to own and make a major part of my portfolio over the next 3 to 5 years? Well, they are CRISPR, of which right now is 5% of my portfolio with about $47,000. Edit, which is actually, the name of the company is Edis Medical, EDITAS, ticker symbol EDIT, and it is it's actually not that, it's only about 2% of my portfolio, and I have about $20,000 in it. And then the third one is Intella, which I have about $30,000 in, and it represents about 3% of my portfolio. Why do I see, if I could only own 3 stocks, why do I see those as the 3? Well, they are going to take CRISPR, that is Edis and Intella, and turn it into the drug or the therapy that is going to cure cancer, that is going to cure sickle cell anemia, that's going to cure infantile blindness, that eventually will be able to analyze my grandchildren's DNA. And since my daughter died of cancer, my mother died of cancer, my grandfather on my mother's side died of cancer, it's coming through the channel. There's a good chance that my grandchildren have the deficiency in their DNA, that they have a propensity for cancer. So if they get their DNA sequenced by other companies that I own, and then CRISPR and either Edit or Intella goes in and rearranges their genome so that propensity for cancer is eliminated, they're not going to die from cancer. I believe that's what's going to happen. And I believe that's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. And I believe that these 3 companies are going to be out in the lead of it. Now, do I also believe that someone else will raise their head and say, hey, we've got a way of doing this too? Yeah, I do. And I don't know who they are, but I know I will learn who they are. And why will I learn who they are before you do? Because I have 15,000 people looking. What do I mean by that? Well, Best of Us investors, I started it with the premise that I'm a retired financial advisor. I built one of the largest financial planning practices in the United States, and I thought I knew a lot about, and I've done a lot of reading, and I owned 7 stocks, and they were growing well, the big 6 plus Tesla. And so I started sharing my knowledge over YouTube, and Drew came and built this Discord, and people started coming to the Discord and sharing their ideas and sharing their research and sharing their knowledge. And now we've got 15,000 people who are feeding me information. So I'm confident that if and when another one of these companies that is even better than Nutella or Edits comes to the forefront, I'll know about it because my tribe will tell me about it. And we will talk about it and we'll share. And I'll say, this is what I've learned on it on the Discord. And they'll say, well, this is what I've learned about it. And we'll put our heads together and we'll buy it when it's worth $2 a share. And then it'll go up to $200 a share. And then it'll go to $2,000 a share. So I'm not a mutual fund. I'm just a guy who understands the stock market, who has a window into the future, who understands the stock market has nothing to do with 200-day moving averages unless what your objective is an 8% return. But if you want a 100% return, you got to be out in front of it. You can't sit behind it and watch what's happening. You've got to be out in front of it and say, this is what's going to happen. And you've got to tap the minds of more people than your own. Now, right now it's 15,000. It didn't exist 12 months ago. I had 1,000 subscribers 12 months ago. Today I think it's about 125,000. This time next year, it'll be over 500,000. And that Discord won't be 15,000. It'll be 50,000 people feeding and exchanging information so that we achieve three things. We only have three objectives here. One, make good, sound financial decisions. Good investments. Two, keep more of what you make. What does that mean? Use the tax code to your advantage. Did you remember Donald Trump doesn't pay any taxes? There's a reason why. He knows how to hold his assets. He knows how to buy and sell them. Understand the tax code. Number three, create family wealth. You're here in the United States, Nita and I are allowed to pass on to our heirs currently just shy of $24 million. Well, why don't we do it? If I can grow this portfolio at 100% a year, I can accumulate 24 million. Hell, if you're 35 and you can implement it, you can accumulate 50 million. It's all there. And it's not that difficult. I mean, there's a window here. All you got to do is look out it and say, what happened to make the next thing happen? What happened was the coronavirus. What's your biggest fear right now? I know some of you don't believe it's a hoax, but okay. It's death. That's why you're quarantined. And as soon as someone gives you a ticket to 25 more years of life, you're going to buy it. You'll buy it before an electric vehicle. You'll buy it before the new smartphone. So the future is in biotech. It's going to storm your door down, and your life is going to change. And all you have to do is collect your information from whatever source. If it's not Best of Us Investors, that's okay. Gather information of what's going to happen tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next 3 to 5 years. And again, CRISPR, edits, and Intella. If I could only own 3 stocks for the next 3 to 5 years, that would be it. Now I'll exercise the right to change my mind in the next 3 to 5 years, but it's going to be in biotech. It's going to be in biotech. That's where the growth is going to happen because it's driven by fear. And there is no greater motivator in humankind than fear. Okay, go to Best of Us Investors. Send me your sign up and give me your email address and your name. I'll send you your invitation to our Discord. And the reason I want your email address is sometimes there's some stuff I want to get out real quick directly to you and help you make quick decisions. And I want to make sure you get it. And you're most likely to open your email. So, okay, that's my chat for the day. The 3 stocks I'd own if I could own nothing else.